Erev Tov, everyone. Shabbat Shalom. Good to see everyone here on this Shabbat. We hope that your week has been good. If your week wasn't so good, hang in there. Shabbos is here now. And as we move into Shabbos, we just take a few moments to reflect on the week that has passed. As we see in our mind's eye everything that we did this week, people that we interacted with, whether that was online or by some luck in person, we take some time just to think of the events of the week and to be grateful for the moments that were good, to let go of some of the stresses and the strains and the difficulties that were part of this week, so that we open our hearts with joy on this Shabbat. And as we welcome Shabbat, we welcome a day that's just for being, a day on which we don't have to do, a day just for us to find some rest and some peace and to celebrate together. So please join me on page 19 with the words of Psalm 95, L'chu neranana l'Adonai. Come sing joyfully to the Eternal. Naria letzur yeshenu. We shout for joy to God our rock. Nekadma fanav b'todah. We enter God's presence with thanks. Familiar with it. We're going to do each phrase and the words yai lai 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 lai.
Shine.
Shabbat, we do so as night falls by the kindling of our Shabbat lights. It's my pleasure to call upon Emma Weisenbluth to lead us in one of the readings of your choice. Emma, page 20 or 21, and the bracha.
We'll do blessing reading Gimel on the bottom of page 21. To light candles in all the worlds, that is Shabbat.
To light Shabbat candles is a soul leap pregnant with potential into explendency, in it the mystery of the fire of sunset.
Lighting the candles transforms my room into a river of light. My heart sets in an emerald waterfall.
We continue on the bottom of page 26. And as we read responsibly in reading Bet, Sean, would you lead us?
Yeah. My God, I thirst for you. I yearn for you. You are like clouds of spring rain, bringing cool water to the parched and dusty desert of my soul.
In the sanctuary where I feel the power and glory of your presence, my mouth fills with songs of praise. All my days I will bless you, for I trust you more than life.
I feel sated as with a royal feast, and when I sing your praises, my heart dances.
We join together with the words of L'Chadodi on page 29, verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. La 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 We continue responsively on page 34 with the words of Joseph Tzvi Rimon, the words of How Can I Sing? Leonard, would you like to lead us there?
Yeah. How can I sing of day and night when it is God who formed them?
How can I sing of heaven and earth when it is God who decreed them?
How can I sing of mountains and hills when it is God who planted them?
How can I sing of seas and deserts when it is God who begot them?
And how can I sing of earth and its fullness when it is God who gave them me?
I shall sing to God who fashioned all, and is beyond all. It is to God I shall sing. And as we sing to God, we sing the words of the Baruch Hu and praise. As we rise in body or in spirit, we turn towards the east. Please join with me in the words of the prayer for creation. In the evening, the words of Mari Varavim. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ari varavim, b'chochma poteach sha'arim, u'v'tvuna meshane itim, u'machalif et hazmanim, u'msader et ha'kochavim, b'mishmarotehem barakia kirtsono, borei yom v'layla, golel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or, u'ma'avir yom, u'mevi layla, u'ma'avdil ben yom u'vein layla, Adonai tzvaot shemo, el chai v'kayam, tamid yimloch aleinu leolam va'ed, baruch atah Adonai, hamariv aravim. Praised are you, Eternal One, whose word brings on the evening. And unending is your love for us, your people, God. You have given us Torah and mitzvot, page 38.
Oh
Eternal One, you who love your people Israel. And in love we rise for the words of Shema and Be'ahavta. As these words enter our hearts, we commit ourselves to following the mitzvot. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam Amen. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam Amen. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levacha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol mechutecha ve'ayu hadvarim ha'eleh asher anochi mitzavcha hayom adorecha v'shirata l'onecha v'dibarta b'am v'shivtecha b'techa u'lechtecha b'derech u'shavtecha u'vkunecha u'kshartam le'od al yadecha ve'ayud otafot ben einecha u'vtavtam al mezuzot beitecha u'v'yish'arecha למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם אלוהים. אני אדוני Elohim, amen. If you're standing, please be seated. On page 42, words of Geulah, words of redemption. Ruth, would you lead us in reading that?
I daring stand at the sea, turn to face the desert stretching endless and still.
My arms reach for the sky, and I want to sing the song rising inside me.
My mouth open, I stop. Where are the words? Where is the melody? In a moment of panic, my vision goes blank. Can I take a step without knowing a destination? Will I falter? Will I fall? Will the ground sink away from under?
The song's still unformed. How can I sing? To take the first step, to sing a new song, is to close one's eyes and dive into unknown waters. For a moment, knowing nothing, risking all, but then to discover the waters are friendly, the ground is firm, and the song rises again. and saved us from arms stronger than our own. So may you redeem all those who are still oppressed and persecuted. Baruch atah Adonai Ga'al Yisrael. We praise you, Eternal One, Redeemer of Israel. As night falls, as we think about going to sleep, we pray the words of the night prayer, Hashkivenu. We ask God to help us to awaken to renewed life and strength in the morning. Page 47. God of our ancestors. Rachel, would you lead us reading that?
Why do we say our God and the God of our ancestors? There are two sorts of believers. One for whom faith has been handed down from our ancestors. The other has arrived at faith through searching and contemplation.
The
First instance, faith cannot be shaken, no matter how many objections are raised to it. But there is a flaw in this. Faith is passed on from generation to generation as part of our tradition, so it may have been learned without thought or reasoning.
The advantage of the second is that faith is reached through its own power, through much searching and thinking. But this faith also has a flaw. It is possible to shake it by offering contrary evidence.
But the one who combines both kinds of faith is invulnerable. That is why we say our God, because of our searching, and the God of our ancestors, because of our tradition. Yitgadol v'yitkadosh me'rabah.
Amen.
Be'amad yivrach yirteh v'yamlich malchuteh. B'chayecha u'v'yomecha u'chayecha ben Yisrael. Ba'agala u'bizman kari v'imnaru. Amen. Yehesh me'rabah mevorach le'alam olam me'almaya Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpar v'yitrombam v'yitnaseh v'yitador v'yitaleh v'yitalosh me'edekudesho le'la min kol birchata v'shirata tush bechata v'mechemata da'amiran ve'amat v'yimeru. תפתחו פי יגיד תהילתך. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו אלוהי אבותינו ואימותינו אלוהי אברהם אלוהי שרה אלוהי יצחק אלוהי רבקה אלוהי יעקב אלוהי רחל אלוהי לאה האל הגדול הגיבור והנורא אל עליון גומר חסדים טובים וקונה הכל וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות ומביא גאולה מבניהם למען שמו באהבה מלך עוזר מושיע ומגן ברוך אתה אדוני מגן העם בעזרת צרה אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני מחלל הכל אתה רב להושיע מכלכל חיים וחסד מחיה הכל ברחמים רבים סומך נופלים רופא חולים ומתיר אסירים ומקיים נתון לשני עפר מי כמוך בגבורות ומידו מלך ממיתון חיי ומצמיח ישוע ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל ברוך אתה אדוני לחיי הכל אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש וקדושים לך ימליאך סלע ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש. Please be seated. On page 55, Frank, would you lead us in reading Gimel?
Evil,
Gimel.
where has this speech vanished? It is lost forever. Will I ever recover anything from it? Joy of life, expect victory, realize hope, the task of accomplished.
Will I ever be able to banish the memory of pain, sting of defeat, the heaviness of boredom?
On this day, let me keep for a while and must drift away. On this day, let me be free of the purpose and must return. On this day, Shabbat Service.
And now Shabbat has come. Can it help me to withdraw for a while from the flight of time?
Can it contain the retreat of the hours and days from the task of reflective life? When all days abandon me, Shabbat abide.
Let me learn to pause, if only for this day. Let me find peace on this day. Let me enter into a quiet world this day. On this day, Shabbat abide. When we say words of avodah, words of prayer, asking God to listen to our prayers. Page 59, at the top of the page, reading Bet. Lena, would you lead us there?
I saw Jerusalem from man's focus, and she was perfect and whole, little yet limitless, within her bow borders, contained and yet uncontained.
Eastward, the hills of Judah, wrapped in white and blue, are ministering priests. Silently, they meditate blessing and burn the snail shell incense.
And on the hills and pits the ever still whispering burn, as if spice were being perfumed there in the twilight by the roasting of the sun's coals on the censers of shadows.
And all Jerusalem was for me like a single coal kept on the altar, that each nation and guardian might come, brighten it with tongs, and take from it an ember. Baruch atah Adonai, hamachazir shechinato letzion. We praise you, Eternal One, who brings your Shekhinah to Zion. Modim anachnu lach. We give thanks to you, God, for our many blessings. As we think of those blessings, we sing these words. Modim Picked the wrong key, sorry. Page 63. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Sovereign God of peace, let your people know enduring peace forever. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki atam melech Adon echol hashalom. Ki atam melech Adon echol hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov b'einecha levarech et Amcha Yisrael. Lecholet uchosha b'shlomecha. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim We take a few moments now to pray the words of our own hearts. Say shalom bimrama, uyase shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol bnei Adam. Oh, say Ya'aseh shalom, Ya'aseh shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, Ya'aseh shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, Ya'aseh shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, Ya'aseh shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. We begin our Torah portion this week with the word Vayeshev, and it's a word that the entire portion hinges on. Our portion this week is full of challenges and intrigue, a parent playing favorites, what else is new, preferring one child over another. We've heard that story before in the Torah, I think. Sibling rivalry, jealousy that leads to violence, lying, arrogance, and deception. Well, it could easily be the plot of a soap opera or a mini-series or a Broadway show. Vayeshev. It means dwelled or settled. It seems for Jacob that all the challenges of his earlier life, his own sibling rivalry with his brother Esau, the deception of his father Isaac in stealing his brother's birthright, the showdown in last week's parsha, wrestling with the angel, finally meeting up with Esau, his brother, for the first time in 20 years, that Jacob's life has been far from stable. And finally, after all this, Vayeshev Yaakov, Jacob is settled. Maybe. Vayeshev suggests security and stability and rootedness. Those same root letters give us the word yeshiva, where scholars sit and study Torah, and the word yishuv, the idea of a permanent community in the land of Israel. So those words, Vayeshev Yaakov, and Jacob was settled, in some ways becomes an ironic way to start this story of the next generation of the children of Jacob. It suggests that Jacob believes that of all the upheaval of his early life, it's over, and now he's finally able at last to settle down to a quiet life. Rashi's commentary suggests that Jacob wanted to settle down to the quiet life of a farmer, but that his plans were disrupted by the fighting between Joseph and his brothers. Rashi says Jacob wished to dwell in tranquility, but the anger of Joseph sprang upon him. But let's be realistic for a moment. Jacob is going to settle down to a quiet life with his two wives, Leah and Rachel, his two handmaidens, Bilhah and Zilpah, and their 12 sons and one daughter that result from this combined family. And now he's got teenagers. I mean, come on, what kind of peace and quiet was he really expecting here? And then we have the similarity between Jacob and Joseph's lives. Rashi notes, whatever happened to Jacob then happened to Joseph. Both were hated by their siblings, and in both cases, their brothers sought to kill them, and many other similarities. Both of their mothers struggled with infertility and eventually gave birth to two boys, Rebekah to Jacob and Esau, Rachel to Joseph and Benjamin, and both Jacob and his son Joseph grew up with sibling rivalry. Both of them dreamed dreams that promised them greatness. Both took the birthright from their brothers. Both died in Egypt, and when they died, their bones were brought back to the land of Canaan for burial in a royal procession. So we can relate to this story of Jacob's sons and of Joseph and his brothers. Many of us might know the sting of favoritism, sibling rivalry, and when we can't help but feel that a loved one has treated us in less than a favorable manner. No family's perfect. Everyone's life has its ups and downs. But maybe this story just seems a little bit over the top. After all, that's why it became a Broadway show. What is it that differentiates a soap opera family, a Broadway family, a scandalous tale from one that's relatively healthy, that's able to overcome differences in a family? And how bad does that sibling rivalry have to get before brothers decide to sell their own sibling into slavery and report home to their aging father that he's been killed, mauled to death by wild animals? Well, here we are. In her book, Wrestling with Angels, Naomi Rosenblatt, who is an author and who also happens to be a psychotherapist, writes about personal relationships in the families of Genesis. And she suggests that the chilling lesson of this story is that love and hate are closely related emotions. Nothing better symbolizes the paradox than Joseph's ornamented tunic, or coat of many colors, as it's commonly known, and what begins as the symbol of a father's love for his son draws an insuperable wedge between Joseph and his siblings. As a victim of his own father's favoritism, Jacob would be expected to be more sensitive to his son's feelings, because he, better than anyone, should understand the destructiveness of loving his sons unequally and then bestowing a special gift of clothing on his favorite. But it seems that sons don't learn from their father's example, because Joseph too seems pretty oblivious about how his own words and actions affect his brothers. When he tells them about his dreams of grandeur, in which he is chief over all of them, with seemingly no understanding of how much they already hate him and how much more enraged this will make them. We're also told that Joseph is a tattletale. He brings bad reports to their father, and his dream that he will someday rule over them further stokes their anger. Given all that, maybe it's not surprising what his siblings do to him. But on the other hand, I don't think it excuses them. It's one thing to be jealous and angry. It's completely another to conspire to commit murder, to sell him into slavery, and then to falsely report his death to Jacob. And there is no sense of compassion for Benjamin, the youngest brother, who has also lost his mother Rachel. And after they dispense with Joseph, the text tells us that the brothers, as if nothing had happened, just sit down to a meal together. So Vayeshev can teach us not only about the relationship between Joseph and his father and brothers, but also about how we should behave in our own lives. Those choices that were made in Vayeshev led to losses. Loss of parental love, loss of healthy sibling relationships, the loss that results when hearts are infected with hate, the loss of a child, and loss of freedom. And these are losses that are all too common and that provoke feelings of sadness and anger. All too often, people end up playing out in their lives the traumas, the sorrows, the pains, the joys, and the emotional and psychological experiences of parents and grandparents. Jacob is so caught up in the loss of his wife Rachel that he tries to overcompensate not only for this loss in Joseph's life, but for his own feelings of loss from the lack of attention he got from his own father when he was growing up. Joseph reminds Jacob of himself, a younger son, a dreamer, and a visionary. But Jacob has a blind spot. He doesn't see how his favoritism pits brother against brother. And Joseph, he's too young and too self-absorbed to understand why his brothers resent him. He knows how much his father loves him, but he isn't able to put himself in his brother's shoes to see how they must feel. Fortunately, for the plot, he survives his brother's plot. And through the next steps on his own journey, he is able to navigate the difficult challenges and adversity that lie ahead. And so he emerges from his trials with a greater sense of empathy and a resilience and maturity that ultimately leads to reconciliation with his family and a destiny for greatness that has been dreamed of in those prophetic dreams. And he learns from his struggles that he is a messenger from the Most High, which is a lesson that we should all remember too. Know that each one of us is a spark of God, and that God Yeshuv, God is rooted. God dwells within each one of us as well. Shabbat Shalom. We take a moment now to think about those in our own families and our community for whom we want to pray for healing on this Shabbat. And as we turn to those words of healing, page 133, we ask for a blessing for these in our community. Shirley Herman, Esther Vuchenmarkt, Rick Valentine, Simon Green, Marlene Friedman, Linda Levenheck, Jack Kudlatz, Francis Van Tyne, Suzanne Scher-Stimson, Bernie McLennan, Harriet Lockman, Jill Rich, Ellen Becker, Nicola Proetti, Eliyahu Ben Yitzhak Visara, Phil Berkowitz, Rebecca Bodbil, Parker Kaiko, Sfeet Sewer, Philip Shepard, Carl Katz, Nicole Hansen, Renee Marmorio, Raina Rowan, Gilan Noruzi, Rob Green, Madeline Kitson, Kathy Kitson, Sharon Burr, Jerry Willis, Dee Hickey, James Gaona, Lorraine DaCosta, Dr. Jack Richmond, and Nettie Sandalovici. And I invite you to share aloud names for whom you are praying or to hold those names in your heart. We join together now in the words of Aleinu, page 149. As we rise, we pray for the day when the world will be one and at peace. Aleinu Shabbat Adon HaKol, Latei Gdol Yotzei Bereshit, Asher Somchel Kedel Yached et Shemo, V'Bor Aleinu Lamlit Malchuto, V'Anu Korim, U'Mishtachavim U'Modim, Lifnei Melech, Malchei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. seated. Page 156. Look around us, search above us. Below, behind, we stand in a great web of being joined together. Let us praise, let us love the life we are lent, passing through us in the body of Israel and our own bodies, and let us say, Amen. Time flows through us like water. The past and the dead speak through us. We breathe out our children's blessing. Blessed is the earth from which we grow. Blessed the life we are lent. Blessed the ones who teach us. Blessed the ones we teach. Blessed is the word that cannot say the glory that shines through us and remains to shine, flowing past distant suns on the way to forever. Let us say, Amen. Blessed is the light, blessed is darkness, but blessed above all else is peace, which bears the fruits of knowledge and strong branches. And let us say, Amen. Peace that bears joy into the world, peace that enables love, peace over Israel everywhere. Blessed and holy is peace. Let us say, Amen. At this time, our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those of our friends and neighbors, and all those people whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. We recall the names of two for whom we are in Shloshim, the first 30 days of mourning. Yvonne Dixon, the sister of Shirley, and the sister-in-law of Gavin Herman. There will be an in-person Shiva Minyan for Yvonne this coming Sunday, the 28th at 7:30, held here at Solel. And the Shiva Minyan will also be on the live stream. And David Friedman, the brother of Harvey and the brother-in-law of Marlene Friedman, the brother of Doreen, and the brother-in-law of Jacob Kojokaro, and devoted uncle. We recall as well the names of the following, whose yahrzeit, the anniversary of whose death occurs this week. Jerome Nevelif, the father of Jane, the grandfather of Emily and Matthew. Beatrice Schulman, the mother of Charles and the grandmother of Holly. Joseph Lifshitz, the grandfather of John Marlowe. Amelia Weitzman, the mother of Susie Botnick. Renata Skotnika Zeidman, the mother of Michael, the grandmother of Leah, Olivia, and Adam. Annie Phillipson, the mother of Diane Adler, and the grandmother of Allison and Michael, the great-grandmother of Danielle, Hannah, Charlie, and Nathan. Esther Heifetz, the grandmother of Alan and the great-grandmother of Natalie. Harry Laskin, the uncle of Brian. Roma Reeves. Eva Kay, the mother of Frank. Wolf Berkowitz, the father of Philip, and the grandfather of Alexandra and David. If you are observing Kaddish Yahrzeit or Kaddish, the same Kaddish for someone this week, as well as for those names I have not mentioned, I invite you to share their name aloud at this time, or to hold their name in your heart. As we invite those who are mourning to please rise first, we say to Min Hamakom Tinachamu, may you find comfort in God's sheltering presence. Now we all rise to support those who are mourning and say Kaddish for those who have no one to say it for them on page 159. Yitgadal v'yitkadash Shemir Rabah ve'alma divrach yirtei v'yamlich malchutei v'chayechonu v'yamechonu v'chayetecho be'Yisrael v'agalau v'zman kari v'imru amen. Yehi Shmei Rabba V'rach Le'alam Olamei Almaya Yitbarach V'yishtabach V'yitpa'ar V'yitramam V'yitnaseh V'yitadar V'yitaleh V'yitalal Shmei D'Kudusha B'richu Le'elam Im Kol Birchata V'shirata Tishbechata V'nechemata Da'miran Me'alma V'imru Amen. Yehi Shlama Rabba Bin Shemaya V'chayim Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael V'imru Amen. V'sei Shalom B'imramal Ya'aseh Shalom, Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol b'nei Adam, v'imru Amen. May the source of peace and peace to all those who mourn, and comfort to all who are bereaved among us, among all the Jewish people, and among all the nations and families of earth. We say together. Amen. Please be seated. It's my pleasure to call upon Robin Botnick, representing our board, to share greetings and announcements.
Thank you, Rabbi. Shabbat Shalom. Just as I begin to read announcements, I want to say how wonderful it is to see so many people here tonight. Every week it gets a couple more people, and for a long time there were no people. And I think we have to be very, very grateful for the virtual environment that we were allowed to share. And that is courtesy of a whole lot of work being done by Joel Brown. So thank you, Joel. And also our wonderful rabbi, who has been here every week for the last many, many, many weeks, again with no people. So we are truly fortunate to have these two wonderful people in our community, and we do owe them a big round of thanks. So thank you. Let's see, announcements. I haven't read announcements in a long time. I'd like to thank the sponsor tonight, which is the Solel Oneg Fund. Our upcoming services, we do have a service tomorrow morning, November 27th at 10 a.m. It is a regular Shabbat service, and regular Shabbat services for the next couple of weeks. Let me see. A couple have saved the dates. Just a reminder that Hanukkah does start on Sunday evening, and we do have Hanukkah supplies for sale. So if you are looking for anything, Hanukkah supplies are available at Beit Sefer Solel on Sunday from 10 to 12 and can be purchased in the building. There are Hanukkah latkes still available for sale. If you haven't pre-ordered, there are ones still available for you. So, and Dave Gordon is here this evening, so if anybody is still interested, please reach out to Dave, or you can contact the Solel office. On Saturday, December 4th at 4 p.m., there is a Havdalah and Hanukkah night to remember. So please join us for this outdoor event for all ages. It is open to the community. And we will be having a wonderful event that night with Havdalah, our big Hanukkah menorah, live music, donuts. Please dress warm. I think it's going to be inside, outside? Outside. Dress really warm. Solel's book club continues on December 13th with the Book of Lost Names. And there is a lunch and learn on Tuesday, December 7th that will be discussing the trial of Leo Frank with Dr. Sylvia Solomon. This week. Rabbi Pollack's adult text study continues on Sundays at 10:30 a.m. And all other information is available on our website. Thank you all for joining us tonight. Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you, Robin. We conclude our service with Kiddush for Shabbat, which is on page 163. It's my pleasure to call upon our own Joel Brown out from behind all of the tech equipment to lead us in Kiddush. Please rise and join with him.
Erev Shabbat Yom HaShishi. Now the whole universe, sky, earth, and all their array was completed. With the seventh day, God had ended the work of creation and rested with all work completed. Then God blessed the seventh day and called it holy, for with this day God had completed the work of creation. Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei b'ri hagafen.
Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho, v'ahava uvratzon ilanu, zikaron v'ma'aseh b'reishit, ki hu yom techila lemikra kodesh, zecher l'tziyat Mitzrayim, ki anu lacharta, v'otanu kirashta, mikol ha'amim, Shabbat Shalom to all. We wish you a day of joy, a day of peace, a day of rest. Please join us for Oneg Shabbat, the social hall. We wish everyone at home good Shabbat as well. Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you.